Okay, today we're going to take a little tour of Neriak. This is going to be where you start out if you start a Dark Elf character. I started a rogue. Um, his name is Vylone. But this is just going to be a tour of all of the class areas. I'm going to turn the audio down a little bit. This is just going to be a tour of the all the class guilds, where you need to go if you start a Dark Elf. And I know from way back in the day when I played beta, I started a Dark Elf, I think it was a Wizard, and I wandered around here in Neriak for hours probably trying to find my guild and really just trying to find my way out to where I could get EXP. And I actually never did find my way out. I think I went ahead and started a human wizard instead, where in Kenos, where it's a lot easier. But so the first thing you want to do is know where the bank is. That's huge. So here's the banker. Um, he's got your just a typical banker, and I got my really crappy newbie dagger. I'll equip it just in case. And then if you go right out this door and to the right here, if you need food and water, this is your guy right here. Basic stuff everybody needs, food and water. This is where you go. And these, I mine vendors all the time looking for stuff, whether it's research words or sometimes there's actually items up for sale that are decent that you can get and not pay an arm and a leg for. But anyway, so here's where you go to find the Caster Guild. Now the Caster Guild excludes necromancers. As in all cities, they have their own special guild. So this is going to be where enchanters, magicians, and wizards go to train and buy spells. First floor is like 50-50 trainers and vendors. You go down here. The first door on your left is where you find lower level wizard spells and a wizard trainer. There's that. And then this is the magician room, magician spells and the trainer. This is the freaky dark elf chick enchanter trainer area. And yeah, the dark elf chicks they're just a little edgy. So that's where you go, magician, wizard, and enchanter. And this is another room, cool room, like a kind of magical fountain, whatever that is. I like it. I like the artwork. I love the wall textures and stuff like that. That gives Neriak a lot of its flavor. Just a cool atmospheric look to it. And if you go to the top, this building, there's more trainers and some spell vendors. I think enchanter spells, I want to say. So multiple levels to this building. I always like the caster buildings. They always really put me into the vibe of EverQuest, the fantasy magical world of EverQuest. So anyway, if you're a warrior, you don't see very many warriors on P99, but especially Dark Elf warriors, just I think probably because of their stats and faction issues. But this is where you go. It looks like a Shadow Knight guild to me, but it's not. It's the Warrior Guild, and there's as always there's a PvP arena down here. I've never used it. Maybe I did after the game went live. It seems like maybe I did, but I never messed with the PvP very much at all. So there's that, and let me see, where are we going here? There's an archery, a vendor for making arrows here. That's handy for melee classes. So this is where you go. These kind of vendors they're kind of an exclusive deal as far as like each city's going to have them, but sometimes trying to find them is difficult. So that's pretty handy to know for me anyway. So I'm just these little places here, they're not exceptionally interesting. They're just vendor shops basically, but and they're cool, but because they've got kind of cool names to them and stuff. This guy has one of these guys has stuff for tailoring. That's pretty useful. A backpack pattern here, so that's good. Then you come back out here, and basically this is about it for Neriak Commons. It's where you go for the Caster Guild and the bank. If you're a Dark Elf, you'll go to Common. You'll always go to Commons a lot. Um, when I was a wizard on live, I would actually bound right in the bank, because when you're a wizard, that's one of the few perks you get, and being able to bind here was really nice, so I always did. I always like this bar too, because these windows look out into the water. It's built halfway underwater. So unconventional and so cool. And there's actually a gnome or a halfling that swims around in the water. He actually swims up to the tank for some reason. I don't know what that's all about, but just more of the just awesome, weird, unique local flavor in the of Neriak. So now let's just say you're a cleric and you're looking for the cleric guild. So this is where you go. This is going to take you to Neriak Third Gate. This is take this is the middle zone in Neriak. Or no, it's the last zone. I'm sorry. Neriak Commons is the middle zone. Third gate's the last zone. Third gate. It even sounds ominous. So I love this kind of holographic artwork they've got put up. Not sure what it's supposed to be exactly, but it kind of just fits the ominous kind of dark elf motif here. And here again, the architecture is so just kind of weird and dark, and but also really cool. I mean, back in the day when this was current, and this is the cleric guild, by the way. This is it right here, and there's even a noose. Anyway, and there's cleric vendors, cleric trainer. This is where you go. And I think you can buy coffins in here for summoning. I think that guy had coffins. So corpse summoning, if you're a necromancer, you can get coffins there. That's kind of useful. Really cool looking. Really, really cool looking. I always like this right here. This is another place I'll never forget. When I was that newbie Dark Elf Wizard trying to find my way around Neriak, I remember just looking at it and going, wow. It's just cool. So now we're getting close to the very back of Neriak. And there's two ways to go. Now this is going to take you to the Rogue Guild, which is my guild. And I'm just going to go here because it's really convenient. But you know it is because of the totally unrelated sculptures they've got. Not sure what that was all about, but still kind of cool. All these guys are well armed. And you just got to go around a little bit. Like this room right here is where you'd expect to find the guild leader, the guy you turn in your newbie note to, but it's not. It's a guy just wearing plate, dual wielding swords. I think the message here is that they're ready for action. If somebody tries to bust in here, they're going to get messed up. So there's just some kind of cool artwork around in here. But to get to your guild master, you actually go up, and let me go. Yeah, here he is, right here, just kind of hiding back in the room. But this is the guy you turn in your guild note to. Just a little look at rogue spells. I've never played a rogue very far. Maybe into the teens. But it's a typical melee class as far as once you get to a certain point, like around level 20, you start having to excuse me. You have to really go a long ways, a lot of travel time to find a place to hunt. And yeah, that's one of the hurdles, one of the real serious challenges of EverQuest is finding a place to hunt, and if you're a group dependent class, finding a group to hunt with, to find a group at all. But just a little bit of my opinion on that. But still, my experience with melees hasn't been much. But anyway, so that's the Rogue Guild. It's another cool spot. It's not really hidden away like it is in some of the other cities, the more goody cities. And what's interesting is the Necromancer Guild is so cool, but it's a little tricky to find. And but I'm getting to it. This is the library. This is where if you're a nec or a wizard, some of your higher level ports, teleports, and self ports are here. And if you're doing, there's a quest where you have to go here, and I can't remember what it was. It might be Steinamogak. I'm not sure, but that's just kind of a landmark in Neriak. And this is a bar, bartenders, the Lacrit. It's the Lacrit family, I guess, owns this joint, or just two Lacrit people work here. A little upper level. These kind of places are interesting in a way because I felt like that there was it was in the developer's vision that there would be places for players to congregate and hang out. Okay, this is the Maidens Fancy. This is a cool place, and this is some flavor. This is some classic EverQuest flavor that you don't see in current MMOs. So you got this bar, and then you got a lower level. What goes on down here? Okay, you got a girl on a table. You got Spice. she's for the people who have sort of alternative tastes, I guess. People are into different stuff. But these girls are funny because if you hail them, let's see, there you go. For 2 gold, they'll dance for you. I don't think it's much of a dance. I can't remember what. I think they just kind of wave their arms a little bit. It wasn't too much, but so girls on tables who accept coin for and dance for you. And then you have these little rooms back here. The little room and a bed. Okay. So you don't have very many brothels in MMOs anymore. They don't generally put that sort of content. I love it. Ambassador Ryland, and he's some kind of a quest guy. I can't remember what he's involved in. He doesn't answer to hail, so I could be wrong on that. But Dark Elf ambassadors tend to pop up in places and be for quests. But here he's just hanging out, and yeah. So this is another place that maybe it was intended to be a hangout for players, but in a grindy game like EQ, I don't. It just seemed like unless players are trading and doing business, they just generally weren't inclined to just stand around in bars and stuff. But it's a neat idea. It's some of the heart of the original game that's been lost in later MMOs and stuff. That just some of the hominess, the human touch is definitely here. I'm not trying to get deep. Okay, so, by the way, this is if you take the firepot room, I should say, in Timorous Deep. This is where you come out, way in the back of Neriak. If you invis and you don't make any wrong turns and it holds up, you can get out. But I just don't know why you would really. You'd be better off if you wanted to get to Lava Storm, maybe. I would take the Freeport pot, but anyway, this is another interesting place. It's kind of like some kind of arcane church or mansion. I'm not sure what it really is, but there's no objectives that I know of here. There probably is, just because I haven't really looked, but there's that. So some more cool artwork. I really, really miss the feelings I had and the experience I had of playing that wizard the first time here, because even though I was lost and stuff, it was so graphically advanced at the time and just so it's just kind of trippy, just kind of weird and just cool. I mean, this is just the kind of weird stuff I like to run into, and what still makes EverQuest kind of appealing to me. And it's all this stuff. It's cool. It's just you definitely feel the hand of the developers here in what they were trying to create. But anyway, so we're looking for the Necro Guild. This is the last stop for um, looking for it's the Necro and Shadow Knight Guild. Sorry, The Shadow Knight Guild's way back here, and it's actually good to know where it is because some races can get by in here as non-dark elves, but you come here, you better be a necro. And if you're a necro, even if you're like, I think my human necro from Kenos couldn't come back here. The ghouls were scowling to him, and those ghouls do see through invis, I believe. So, and I love this. This is like some kind of Chinese, Asian, Oriental-looking architecture for the House of the Dead. And this is where the Shadow Knights and Necros are. And you go in here and you see the power. You got the Shadow Knights, you got a Necro, just cool. Just the Dark Elf mystique here. And the Necromancers and Shadow Knights in Dark Elf culture are held in the highest esteem. There's no hiding away or any of that stuff. They're kind of like the dominant caster. They're actually, and they're almost really a separate category. And there's actually an faction issue between Necromancers and the Caster Guild, if I remember right. I don't know if you're kill on sight. I do want to say, I think you're dubious to the Caster Guild, where I showed you before, where the Magician and Wizard and Enchanter Guild was. Here's where I come up against a Redcon syntax quest text. I tried like, I don't know, like half a dozen different ways of trying to get him to give me the quest, and I couldn't do it. So if anybody watching this and wants to try and do it, you at least know what not to type. So there's that. What it is it's, I did the quest a long time ago back on live, where what you do is you collect fire beetle eyes. Fire beetles are level 2. They're in the newbie yard in Nectalos, and the eyes are non-stackable, but you get 4, 6, or 8. I can't remember how many it is. This guy gives you an empty box. You get 4, 6, or 8, and you combine them, and then you bring it back to him, and he gives you some EXP and some faction hits. Can't remember the faction hits, what those were, but it's a little EXP quest. I can't remember if he gives you any coin or an item reward or not. I wish I could. Anyway, I wish I could remember, but you can probably look it up. But anyway, that's him. I guess he's like he needs stuff for experiments. He's back here doing some ghastly necromancer experiments back here. And that's like, it looks like it's some kind of slab or something for him to perform experiments on. But anyway, I love necromancers, and there's no more fitting class to me or race than dark elves for playing a necro, because they're so perfect for it. They're just naturally evil. They look cool. They've got white hair, blue skin. Yeah, just very cool culture there. I really feel like the questing is funny in EverQuest, because you get so many quests when you're new, when you're trying to learn the game, and it seems like, by around level 10 and beyond, you don't run into very many quests. The opportunities to quest, as far as what it pertains to what you're hunting and your level, just seem to go away. It's something happened there. I don't know if they just ran out of time when the game was in development, or they just didn't plan for it to continue on. But anyway, just a little analysis there. I don't know what happened, but it's what they did put in was cool, and always quest. If it makes any sense for you to do a quest, try it. And sometimes, actually a lot of times, it won't make any sense to do it. You should still try it. Try reading the quest, try doing the quest. It's amazing how your perspective of every quest changes when you're not just out there grinding your tail off like it's a job, try the quests. Try soaking up some of the flavor and the coolness of what the developers put in years ago. So anyway, I'm going to take you back to the entrance all the way to Nectalos Forest. And back in the old days when I was playing on live and whatnot, this was a pretty long trip because of all the loading that you had to do. And part of why I don't mind EverQuest now so much is load times are like almost gone. I mean, it's not instant, but it's not such a big deal to have to load up a zone where it used to take forever. I never timed it, but it felt like forever. He's just sitting there zoning forever. So, okay, so now I'm going to go back out. This is going to take me to the drawbridge. Okay, here's the bank. Yeah, here we go. It's such a confusing town. I still get confused walking around in it. So anyway, yeah, if you're a blacksmith, there's where you can go. That takes you down to the bank. There's another place I wish I could find. It's like there's a body of water here that I'm going to cross over here in a minute. But there's a bank, or not a bank, like a pier, and there's a little rowboat, a canoe. And it's another one of those places I visited that was like in beta where I went everywhere but where I wanted to go. And I remember checking it out. And I remember, it seems like I remember running into another player. Um, Little guard room, that's cool. POD. Okay, now we're going into Neriak Foreign Quarter. The foreign quarter is another one of the really cool ideas, and you notice they call it the quarter. So there's definitely sort of New Orleans influence. I mean, if it's not obvious already in the names and stuff, they call it the foreign quarter. Everybody, just about all races are here. It's interesting. I guess I don't know if the dark elves on the outer edges of town are a little more liberal and a little more open to non-dark elves, but anyway, I'll show you the wide variety of races here. This is an interesting spot. A lot of necros probably don't catch this, but these freaky girls up here, if you bring them certain stuff, they've got quests where they give you necromancer words. And it's unfortunate that it only goes up to like level 34, 29, or 34. I can't remember which one it was. The stuff they ask for is a bit crazy, but if you're really hurting for those words and you want to research your pet or something, try them out. Yeah, Palais Deracour. She has backpacks, bags and backpacks. And if you're a newbie, obviously one of the first places you want to try and find is the backpack vendor. She's got them, bags, backpacks, whatever you need. This guy has shoes. He's got a lot of other stuff, but mainly shoes. Or usually mainly shoes. Let's see. This is a bar in one of these vendors. I was sure had muffins and milk, but I checked and he didn't have them. But muffins and milk I always liked buying because it was the cheapest food you could get if you didn't make your own. But there's those guys, and this is really cool because there's an erudite apparently moved here, and he built his own house, and its interior design and architecture looks just like Eridan, but I'll get to it in a second. This is just a bar. That's cool. I like it. If you need to make alcohol, here it is. Okay, yeah, here it is. Gamble's Greens. He's got in, but if you go to Eridan, this is what Eridan, it's got like these marble walls and stuff. Looks just like it. And he's got a cool view from here. Not a bad place. It's a little dark, a little dank, a little cave-like, but kind of cool too. It may be an inn. It seems like I saw there was a sign that said it was an inn, but that's pretty cool. Now, if you go over here, you've got a settlement of ogres and trolls. And when I was playing on live, when I got my necromancer to probably 54, I want to say, I came here and I hunted trolls. The trolls were on necromancer and shadow knight faction. It didn't affect my faction anywhere else in town except for the necromancer guild. Now, if you notice, I just said I was a necromancer, but it didn't really matter because this was after Plane of Knowledge, and I could go to the Plane of Knowledge and train if I needed to, but I really didn't need to anymore. But anyway, these guys, I would pull them. Two of them, I believe, Uglan and Karnan. When you pulled them, those two would come as a group, and then these two would come as a group. And I'd use root and feign and stuff to split them up. Got a lot. I think I probably went from 54 to 60 here. And I'd fear kite in here. I'd cast fear, and the guys would walk up these ramps and stuff while my pet was whacking on them. It was really easy. Once you got it split up, it was really easy. This guy turned green pretty early. But now here is a fake wall. I don't know why it was put in. I don't know what it was intended for. If it was meant to be as a shortcut for people who had bad faction, I don't know. I never did figure out why it was put in. But it takes you back to Neriak Commons. There's no reasoning for the shortcut as far as I can tell. It's not going to save your time at all. It's probably, actually, I'd say it's actually longer if you take it, but it takes you right to back to the POD. But just about every town has like a hidden area, and it's cool when you find it intentionally or otherwise. But that's pretty much it. I'll take you back out to Nectulos just to show you the entrance, and that's pretty much going to do it. It's just a big reason why I play EverQuest. Honestly, Project 1999 is for the nostalgia, just because it brings back such good memories and of just the early days of MMOs and three-dimensional graphics and just the entire coolness and atmosphere that EverQuest had when it first launched. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have much more to say about it, but creepy music. I don't know if it's classic. I believe it was added later, but it's good. It's really fitting. It's kind of cool. But there's the entrance. And Nectulos is, to me, the best newbie yard in the game, next to the XR newbie yard. It's very good. Gets you to level 8 really well, and then it dumps you into a zone where there's lots of level 8 and up mobs. So it's a really good, actually a really good starting area. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.